Welcome back to Andertons TV. Happy New Year if this is the first video of ours you've seen in 2026.
What a year.
Monsieur John!
I'm back. Hello,
yes.
hello.
And John, it's hybrid John today.
Indeed.
A little bit digital, a little bit valve, a little bit analog.
Bit of both.
I've thrown it all in for you.
Maybe I'm maturing. Maybe. Maybe not.
Don't do that. Look, let's... You're going to hear in this video, you're going to hear John play. We're going to have a mix of using my pedal board. We're going to mix it up with a Quad Cortex. You're going to hear Pete play, and you're going to hear Oz play, I think. Oz play? That sounds like a thing, doesn't it?
Oz play.
Oz play.
Cosplay.
Because I want to talk about this new amplifier from Victory, which is very versatile, hence the reason why we've got lots of people playing it. Actually, on that point, I suspect if you go over to the Victory official YouTube channel, they also invited a ton of different guitar players into their HQ recently to do the same thing, just push that versatility thing. Cards on the table, if you don't know, I own a small share of Victory amplification, so of course I'm completely biased and disregard everything I say.
I don't, so I can be as honest as I want.
The history of Victory amplifiers goes back to 2012-ish, where Martin Kidd, who had previously made guitar amplifiers for Cornford and had been consulted for by lots of different famous guitar amp brands, was unemployed. And myself and a few other people kind of went, it would be cool to start a new amp brand where we could get Martin to be the chief designer. And that's how Victory was born. And the original lineup of Victory amplifiers were hand-wired, kind of, I guess, evolutions of what he'd been doing in his Cornford days. And then the Lunchbox was born. And quite quickly, the direction Victory went in was, oh, Martin, could you do like your version of a Fender, but with a slightly different breakup, or your version of a Marshall with a, bit more versatility, or your version of a 5150, and you can work with Revere and blah. And then 10 years later, like the whole range was just Martin's versions of other classic amplifiers, and not like his amp.
Yeah.
So in 2024, we did the MK series, which was like top of the range, customize your leather covering, everything like that, all hand-wired, all signed inside by Martin, all that kind of malarkey. And the MK Overdrive was kind of like, just you do you, Martin. Make your ultimate guitar, multi-channel guitar amplifier, which he did. And it's really expensive. And it's been quite popular, actually. But you know who the customer is there, right? The customer is not your necessarily your sort of gigging, hard-working kind of touring guy. It's the guy or the girl who's he's achieved,
and he's
going,
boutique.
That's what I want. Yeah. That's what I want, right?
Boutique cash.
So MKX is now trying to bring that vibe into something more affordable. I call it affordable because it's a fraction of the price of the MK Overdrive. It's still a handmade British made guitar amplifier, so it's not like hyper affordable.
It's good quality amp money.
It's good value.
Yeah.
So you're going to hear John play this at the moment. We're using the matching 2x12, which is a vintage Celestion vintage 30 loaded closed back 212. There's a 112 with the same speaker complement, if you like. And we're also going to hear the new Lunchbox Cab, which is a much smaller steel, super lightweight, super compact cabinet as well. We're going to hear that with the QC. Let's start with, it's a 3-channel amplifier, clean, gain 1, gain 2, EQ for the clean channel, shared EQ for gain 1 and 2, separate volumes for, master volumes for the clean and dirty channels, and you can elect through a button on the back to be able to either automatically assign the clean channel to the first master volume and the dirty channels to the second master volume, or you can independently foot switch that master volume regardless of which channel you're on. And on the reverb side, a separate decay and level control. Presence and resonance on the back, effects loop, all that goodness. Mr. John?
Yes. What are these?
Yeah, so my board had a little mini makeover, same pedals, but I put the smaller gig rig on, so I'm now just running the compressor and the gain pedals and the tremolo pedal into the front of the amplifier, and the reverb and the delay and a little extra boosty thing through the effects loop. And now, as you can see, the actual amps channel switching pedal is on my board. There's actually a few things come with this. You get your gig bag when you buy the amplifier. Show it with the logo.
Great bag.
Nice bag. The pedal, you get space either end of the bag for a pedal, and then you get 2 of these dual pedals. One does channel 1 to 2 and gain 1 to 2, which you can see on my board, and the other one does master, volume, and reverb. So let's get a juicy. Well, actually, no. Let's just turn everything off. Let's have a sans pedal clean sound. So now you're just hearing the clean and some reverb from the amp.
All right.
I would typically make that a bit more ambient sounding, so I've got some extra reverb and a little delay down here. And I'd probably use my compressor. I've got into the habit of just having my compressor on all the time.
I'm an always on compressor.
So here's compression into the front end and reverb, extra reverb and delay through the loop.
Very enjoyable.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with that. I was surprised actually how much I enjoyed the Vintage 30 loaded cab for clean sounds. Normally in my head I sort of go, Vintage 30, great for winding up a driven amplifier and getting that tighter, but actually sounds fat.
What's the presence and resonance on the back of that saying?
Flat.
In the middle? Ah,
yeah, I might have rolled the, presence has been rolled down very slightly, but that's because of that guitar.
It's a bright guitar.
The bigger 2x12 cab, for me anyway, doesn't feel like it needs the bass end wound in anymore.
Yeah.
And you can see we've made some minor adjustments to where the EQ settings are here, but nothing more than like 10%.
2 hours.
You're going to see actually in videos from now on, my Duchess amplifier, which is a killer single channel amplifier, and I would get all my overdrives from pedals. And I've been using that in one form or another for about 2 years. I'm going to replace it with this for a few months because I've got this thing where I think I like amp gain, or maybe I don't like it more than pedal gain, but it's a different thing, isn't it?
I like it more.
You like it more,
as a digital person.
Right.
But I do. I think there's something a bit more genuine and I guess not artificial. Like tube distortion is desirable, isn't it? So.
I mean, certainly if you think about certainly if you've grown up listening to classic rock, you know, all your kind of Van Halen and before, it's all amp gain. Or I suppose if you, fine, there'll be some fuzz in there that's not amp gain, but all your kind of classic gain sounds are amp gain. And obviously I got used to pedal gain, and to me, pedal gain is kind of smoother and a little bit more controllable.
Yeah, it's compressed as well.
Yeah. Amp gain is, I think, got an extra degree of sort of dynamic in it.
I'd agree.
So I thought, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm probably not going to use the clean channel on this a great deal unless I want to do something sparkly. I think I'm going to sit kind of here, which is amp gain 1. And particularly I think with that guitar, you'll be able to go from a really nice clean sound to a nice chunky gain sound just on the volume control. And I think I'm going to do that. So I've turned the reverb and delay off. We've still got the compressor on.
All right, so if I'm, I don't know, probably 2. Punchy and
that's it. That's the. I've only had this amp for a matter of hours. I've got gain 1 here at halfway. That might be too much. I'm not sure.
I never like a crystal clean. I like it with a tiny bit of hair. Yeah.
I think it's it's genre dependent, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Like, you know, there are instances sometimes maybe if you're doing funk or country or something like that, you just want spank all the time.
That's true, yeah.
But I agree, for what I play, crystal clean is probably not where I want to be.
Yeah.
And of course, I've still got my juicy pedal board. So what I want to feel like I can do, and bizarrely, this fuzz pedal over Gain 1 was insane. So play around just again on, take the volume down a bit and just find the sweet spot.
For a fuzz, that cleans up very well.
Yeah, I mean, do you want the silly fuzz mode?
Yeah,
silly
go on.
fuzz mode is
silly
fun.
Fuzz. That's great fun.
Isn't it?
Wow.
Okay, so we'll plug that. That's the Fjord Fuzz Odin.
Sweet.
The latest version, V4 I think it is.
Big fan.
This sounds great. So this is just a boost. So this is the Duchess Boost, which Victory make a pedal called the Duchess, and it's just like a clean boost with some EQ on it. And again, this just elevates. I think my general experience is once you start getting gain from the amp, you need to shift where your reverb and delay pedals are in the chain.
Yes.
If you put them into the front of the amplifier, and then if you like after you've generated the reverb and delay, you apply gain from the amp, it's
can get messy. Yeah.
I think so. So here's that same sound, but with reverb and delay applied after.
It's a lot cleaner and stays out of the way.
And then again, I can get some my Tumnus, Screamer and Dane, especially the Tumnus and the Dane are adding probably the most gain. So, but we're still on channel 1, sorry, gain 1.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get you more of a, and we're using single coil pickups as well. Let's see if we can get you with the Tumnus.
That's a lot of fun.
It is so versatile. Anyway, we're channel 2, sorry, gain 2. Now I've got this on my amp, or on the setting I would have is almost off because I'm going to use gain 2 as just a slightly heavier version of gain 1.
More volume and stuff, yeah.
You can, of course, gain 2 has got all the gain. Anybody that knows Martin Kidd will know that Van Halen is his idol.
Right, I didn't know that.
And it's just, he just likes
a lot of it, yeah.
Fat gain. But we'll wind that in, and you're going to hear a bit more of that actually when John starts to play the other one. But here is channel gain 2 on a really low setting.
Sounds wrong on a telly, but
it does. Sound
I mean,
good.
It sounds fun.
Let me, if I, first of all, so this is how I would use it. So gain 2 with a tube screamer now.
Yeah, that's closer. Yeah.
Let's use something a bit more modern.
Yes.
I'm interested, your Balaga here, you've still gone single coils on here.
Well,
right?
P90s.
Well, it's a single, I mean,
No, they're not the same. P90s are fatter in my opinion. I think P90s are the perfect pickup for lower reg. Well,
you and Chris Buck, you're just driving that sort of. Anyway, so
P90s.
let's have half the gain from
shimmer on
gain
it.
2, and this is a baritone as well, so we've
Yeah.
got lower.
Nice and fat and thumpy.
So that was just my compressor on. If we go, I mean, do you want to just put the tube screamer over the top and just try and do something very modern?
Yeah. Does that.
So it's versatile, right? It's got lots and lots of tones in there. That's basically, that's the overview.
Having a reverb decay and a level is very handy, because usually it's just like the amount of reverb, being able to change the decay is huge, in my opinion.
So I think we've kind of heard plenty through this amplifier. I'm going to grab my Strat, and without really changing anything, if you want to chuck me the cable, this is one of these ones that mutes itself when you unplug it, which is very handy.
It is, I'm sure about that.
I'll kind of take you through more of, stylistically, I suppose, how someone like myself would approach it as a sort of more bluesy rock kind of player. If I'm in that sort of big ambient territory. Love it. Very clean. Nothing on except the compressor and the sort of echo and stuff that you're hearing. So gain 1, which is where I said I think I would end up being most of the time. I mean, that's
very nice.
Just right on the edge, isn't it?
You're on position 4 as well?
Yeah. And I think I've set the tube screamer slightly differently for you, but I was finding that sort of. And I like to stack pedals as well, so here's the dang. That was Dane.
You've been practicing.
Honestly, it's inspiring, I think. And then the fuzz thing was just blowing me away on this. So, because I think fuzz is like the most organic drive there is. And then to you know. Oh man, I could do this literally all day, and it's all, I think, just because amp gain is a thing. It's like it's just, and I don't know, for a long time, I was almost afraid of amp gain.
Right.
Like I just used to find pedal gain was just easier.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's just
It's more convenient to set up and stack drives on paper, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, when you get a good amp with good drive, it's hard to ignore, I think. So.
And I've not even gone anywhere in it. So gain 2. You're probably not going to see me play gain 2 very often, but it's there if you want it. So I'm a happy man. I enjoyed listening to you play, John, but I know that for you, your gigs and stuff are sort of, you're using way more stuff and a much more versatile rig, so you're going to go quad cortex. And Revere is a great sort of user of an amp like this. He has his own signature, kind of like product that he co-designed with Martin called the Kraken. But he'll use that in conjunction with his quad cortex in 4-cable method. And I also know that many people who've gone down the quad cortex route, or whatever it be, Helix or whatever, are doing so because they just don't want to take this much gear out with them.
Yeah.
I don't actually think this is obscene.
No,
if you had a, your Laney powered thing is probably 2/3 the size of this.
Yeah.
Anyway, but anyway, so I get it. So this year, not this year, last year, 2025, the Victory guys were trying to do like, what's the smallest cab that we can make? There's another. There is something else coming later this year that's going to be sort of a smaller amp kind of thing that you'll be able to use with that, but I can't say much about that for now. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to show you the MKX in 4-cable method. So this is where John is going to switch between patches that use the preamp and the power amplifier from here into the cab, and also bypass the preamp in here and just use the power amp in here and replace it with whatever amp John wants from the QC. But everything you're going to hear now is a mic'd up cab.
Yeah.
Talk about the difference as a guitar player between having Soundman with his emulated output versus you on stage with something that you can hear that isn't just fold back.
Yeah, so quite a lot of people are turned off by the premise that you don't hear a speaker sound. I think what most people hear when they think of a guitar tone is a speaker sound. It's not in-ears, even studio monitors, like these. But when I gig, I always like some sort of sound. At the minute, I kind of am, I guess, on a guitar player perspective, globally, compromising with an FRFR, even though I've kind of got used to it. But when I have the luxury of having, an amp, and I can have my Victory cabs and a head, I usually use this by going into the return of that, and sometimes switching it with 4-cable method with different preamps. So at the minute, I've got kind of a matchless style thing here, because this can probably do a good impression of a matchless, I think, if you dial it in right, somewhere on game 1.
I mean, but it's not an EL84
No, it's not the chimey
vibe.
thing, but that's why I thought that would be a good idea to have it on here. So what we're going to do is go between the two, just for different flavors. And you can, this is only 4 cables. This is 4-cable method overwhelms a lot of people, but it's really not that complicated.
I mean, bearing in mind, for any normal rig, you've got to use 2 cables anyway.
Well, quite, yeah.
So when we say 4-cable method, it's just 2 more cables. Absolutely.
The one that you plug into your guitar is one of them. So it's very simple. Anyway, shall we demonstrate it?
Yeah.
So
pop the standby switch upwards, that's it.
Currently,
so now, by the way, now we're using that amplifier, which is the same amp. The settings are marginally different, but of course the big difference is we're using the smaller cab.
Yeah. So now we're going to get all the goodness of flexibility and valve power section and thump. So, but baby thump, little cab. I say baby thump. It's pretty thick, this thing. So currently we're in the clean channel. I can access all the different channels here.
That's a good. There are other versions of the Quad Cortex, if you're a Helix or even the Kemp user, I think. There'll be outputs on the floor unit that will be able to control the channel switching on the amplifier. Right. But the Quad Cortex doesn't have that kind of output, so hence why John's
It might do, but I don't. I've never had to do it. Anyway, so for now we're doing it the old school way with the foot switch. But here is the clean channel. So this is literally just a gate. Actually,
and we've turned the reverb off on the amp as well. So any reverb you're going to get is now
you're going to get from QC. So this is just straight in the amp. I'm just going to put a little gate in there, and also an EQ just to take out some mids that I don't like. I can maybe push that with, I think this is a red drive, like a Keeley red drive kind of thing. Or I could clean it up. Let's add some reverb delay, harmonic trem, which I'm very obsessed with at the minute.
To be fair, what you're doing now is really just what I'm doing, right? You've got drive pedals in the front, reverb pedals through the loop. It's like, that's basically, and I think sometimes people will look at Quad Cortex and similar and just go, oh no, I've got to take the full jump into the world of amp simulation. You really don't have to. You can just use that as an alternative to a pedal
This
board.
is like a cyborg rig.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
So let's do game one. So let's just take all those effects off. I'd be interested to see how the low end translates, because there is a difference in low end. There's like literally different amounts of material here. But for a baritone, it still feels thick like a baritone. So I could, again, engage some more gain. Could even be like a mid-gain solo thing. Yeah, the gate's kicking in a bit there. That's all fun. What else? Let's do gain 2. So I'm going to drop it back down.
You need both lights on for gain 2.
I'm going to need the noise gate. I should say I've also got the red drive engaged there. So without... with... So.
And then if you want to, touch of a button, you can switch the preamp off on the Victory and replace it with whatever amp you fancy.
That's where we were. And as you can, you may be able to, can you see it on the overhead tay? Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going in between the effects loop, which is doing all this stuff, and then my matchless kind of thing. So currently, we're in gain 2. Let's go in game 1. So again, not very matchless style, but now. Now we're back fatter, thicker, game 1. Chimey, matchlessy thing. And the levels are a bit different, but yeah.
That's just a question of setting it up, isn't it? I feel like I've been on a bit of a journey, or like a crusade maybe, about, and I probably come across as anti-FRFR Cab, and I kind of don't mean to be, But I think there's just a big misconception that if you use an FRFR cab instead of a regular cab, it sounds the same. So, you know, you say, I've got a 2x12 Celestion vintage loaded speaker here. So if I get my FRFR cab, I find an IR of a 2x12 vintage 30 loaded cab, and I use that, it will sound the same. And I think that's the misconception. So without necessarily going, is it better, is it worse, whatever, I just think it's worth saying it's not the same. An IR through front of house is designed, or through some studio monitors, is designed to capture the mic'd up sound of, it's this sound, it's whatever's coming through it's whatever these two mics are kind of
fully processed, baked in, cooked guitar tone,
And in the room or on a stage, it's a different sound to a cab. And I suppose I have to accept that as someone who, in my guitar playing life, 80% of it has been IRs didn't exist for. So I've only heard cabs. And so I've found it very difficult to warm to what an FRFR cab sounds like, because it just doesn't sound like that. And I wouldn't have said, I don't mean to be brutal here, I don't even think it's close, right? I think it's a very different sound. So forget better or worse, that's subjective. It's just very, very different. I suppose if, like John, you've maybe grown up playing through plugins and studio monitors and all that kind of stuff, maybe the FRFR cab gives some familiarity to you.
It's the closest thing to how I've perceived a guitar sound in my life.
And I think that's the point that I'm coming to, really, is we can all agree that there's no better or worse. It's like that's a subjective thing. But I think if you're a guitar player and you're looking for familiarity of a real speaker cab, you're never going to get that using an FRFR cab. I suppose, like you say, if familiarity to you is studio monitors and plugins, then actually FRFR cabs might give you that familiarity. But for me, what made all of those iconic guitar sounds through, you know, whether you're talking about early players using old Fenders and Voxes or stuff like that, or you're talking about players right through to who were playing the higher gain boogie stuff or whatever, a huge part of that sound is the cab. And I just find FRFR cabs have quite an unnatural top and bottom end, but whatever. So that's why I kind of feel that on stage or in a room, as a guitar player, I want to hear a real cab. Give the front man, give the front of house guy your IR, because he's only getting that. Even if you mic the cab up, that's what he's getting. So
that's what a sound of an FRFR is. It's almost like the sound of a mic coming out of the cab. Which is unnatural for guitarists. I get that.
So for me, it's like, you know, we're all sitting here spending thousands of pounds on guitars and amplifiers and pedals and stuff like that. Don't forget the cab, right? A really good cab is hugely important. If portability and price and everything is going to dictate what you can buy, then 1,000,000%. Look at that little Victory cab. As far as Victory is concerned, it's relatively affordable. I mean, it's not as cheap as some of the sort of Chinese type cabs you'll be able to buy, but it's kind of at the lower end of what Victory makes. And I think it sounds great.
It does. I love it.
You know, you can have that on stage at a relatively modest volume. It's going to give you that more authentic feel. It's going to give you the ability to get a bit of interaction between your guitar and the amp, you know, a bit of feedback, all that kind of stuff. If you want a bigger sound, but still super portable, buy two. Like make a mini stack. You get quite an interesting sort of laws of physics when you put two speaker cabs on top of each other and all that kind of stuff, and you're moving more air.
That's what I do with my 1x12s. Never experimented with side by side or on top, actually. But
I mean, obviously, if you've got a stereo rig, you can separate them, but that doesn't work the same. But yeah, if you put the two on top of each other, it's a different kind of sound. It's a bit of a fatter sound. I think we've kind of reached the end. At some point during this video, of course, thank you to Pete and thank you to Oz for playing. I don't know where they've been inserted in. Maybe they're being inserted in now. I don't know. But they'll obviously have their own unique styles as well. Should we have a little jam, Mr.
Let's absolutely do that.
John?
I'll go back to a standard tune guitar.
Okay, so what do you want, your telly back?
Yes, please.
We're fendering it up. Well, you know what then? I'm going to use a Les Paul.
Hey.